have a better day. Build your better breakfast at Subway.
Subway is the place that lets you build your better breakfast with all the flavors you choose. Start off with an irresistible steak, egg, and cheese. Then make it your own. Try it with toasty tomato or turn up the zest factor with banana peppers and jalapenos. Maybe Chipotle Southwest sauce for the finishing touch. All on warm and tasty flatbread. It's flat out delicious.
Products may vary. Breakfast available from opening to 11 a.m. at participating restaurants.
First Federal Community Bank, founded to meet a need, growing to fulfill it.
North Worcester Avenue, growing since 1996.
New Philly, growing since 1998.
Boulevard, growing since 2002.
Sugar Creek, growing since 2007.
Berlin, growing since 2009.
First Federal Community Bank, growing the community.
Continuing coverage of the 2011 Tuscarawas County Cross Country Race from Dover City Park, I'm Bill Morgan with color analyst Frank Fry. And Frank, as we see this race getting underway, in addition to being our color analyst, you're an assistant coach down at Claymont for the boys and girls programs. You got a chance to walk this course with your runners. Tell us a little bit about the layout at Dover City Park.
It's a difficult course, new course, because of some conflict of interest. Coach Sparks was on short notice made to make a new course, and with the weather conditions we've had, the excessive rain, very few dry, sunny days, course conditions are difficult out there at best. Runners are going to be wanting to really pick their line as to to get good footing, and I look for times to be overall slow today. A lot of the course is the same. Here they're coming around about 500 meters into the race, and we got, as no surprise, Logan Kettlewell out here. But if you notice all these guys, look at them, everybody's running a different way, and you can see the water splashing underneath foot to try to find the best footing here for the quickest route. That's just a wide array of guys looking for a different line. The way I call it is picking your line.
Frank, you talked about the fact that we've had a lot of rainfall leading up to the race. Obviously today, sunny, it's sort of warm. When it comes to racing conditions, does it vary from runner to runner in terms of what he or she might prefer when the sun is wind goes on?
I think, yeah, each runner's different, but cooler temperatures, I think, is always good for fast times because your body's not as warm while you're running. Like today, sunny, and these runners are going to get warm today, running.
Our coverage of the 2011 Tuscarawas County Cross Country Race being brought to you by a number of great sponsors here in Tuscarawas County, including Sofer Insurance, your local nationwide agent, Doug Sofer, with offices in New Philadelphia and Baldwin. We get nationwide on your side. Also, the First National Bank of Denison, in Denison, Dover, Junaid and Hutton, and in New Philadelphia, and online at fnbdenison.com.
Here we have Logan Kettlewell coming off the backside of the course, which remained the same as previous. Very hilly. One hill's known as Suicide Hill. Logan commanding lead here just after the 2-mile mark. Don't even see the next runner coming yet, so he really put some distance on these guys on the difficult part of the course.
We talked about Logan leading the race and some of the other runners you see out front coming into the race. Who are some of the guys you expected in addition to Logan still to run out front, Frank?
Well, Matt Engstrom's running very well from Dover, and Logan's teammate Brady Yoder. Our guys down Claymont, we're coming on, but a little later, so I really didn't expect them to be up there with him. But the pack right here shows Matt Engstrom leading Brady Yoder, Stone Swigert, and Derek Barker, and then we've got looks like about 10 seconds in between my next group of Chandler Miles and Blake Freed. And Blake had been our #1 runner for most of the year, so to see him back there is a little surprising. And here's Claymont's 5th, Justin Gilbert, known as JG.
Bill Morgan, Frank, come on, JG! Coverage of the 2011 Tuscarawas County Cross Country Race. And Frank, you said you expected with the course conditions of the times to be a little bit slower. In an average high school cross country race at the boys level, or what can you expect from guys who are finishing in the top 5? And I guess in terms of the second differential, how much of a change do you expect to see with the course conditions today?
I would say you could add anywhere from 30 seconds to 45 seconds because of course conditions today. Just slower, soft, muddy. You look for the top runners to break 17. Outstanding runners even break 16 on the state level. Get down around the low 15s, which that's under a 5-minute mile pace.
Pretty impressive, certainly, and we talked about there being 5K. For those of us who I guess are metric challenged, translate the 5K into miles.
A 5K is a 3.1 mile.
We're seeing good guys coming in the middle of the pack now, and tell us a little bit of this about racing mentality, Frank. Obviously, the guys who are out front, they know they're contending for a race championship, or top 5 or top 10 spot. What about guys who are in the middle of the pack or the back of the pack in terms of their mental focus as the race goes on?
Well, these guys got a couple things they're going for. You know, they could be point scorers for their team, or, you know, there might be just challenging themselves in the clock and trying to better their what's known as a PR, as a personal record. So that's always everybody's goal, is to better themselves.
Our coverage being brought to you by a number of great sponsors, including Ferris Chevrolet, Buick, Cadillac, Toyota, on the Wabash in New Philadelphia. Think Ferris, Johnson, Urban, and Range Attorneys in New Philadelphia, and the Quaker Cinema on West High in downtown New Philadelphia. Always great movies at the Quaker Cinema, and family atmosphere. Mike Ernst and his family running that great facility in downtown New Philadelphia. And bringing up Mike's name, Mike is certainly one of the people who sort of spearheaded this effort, because as folks watch on TV2 on Time Warner Cable, they might be thinking, Frank, cross country on TV, am I actually seeing this? And Mike sort of gets this idea, and he and you and the great sponsors sort of made this a reality. I guess tell us a little bit about the idea, where it came from.
Oh, this is definitely Mike's brainchild. And a lot of people were pretty excited about it. It is, it's neat. I don't know of really on a state level of how many cross-country meets are actually televised. You know, I don't even know that the state meet is televised. So this is, what would you say, breaking ground here for Mike in getting this thing going. Here we got the ATV, Louis Hyman leading Logan Kettlewell around. They've got one more lap to do around the inside of the park, and you see Logan's father making chase here, but unsuccessful, I'm sure.
Well, there's a little doubt. I can remember when I first came to the area and was coaching girls basketball out of Garaway, and I wonder, I've got a friend, the Davis is over on the south side of New Philadelphia, the Cedar Dome and the girls race, and I said, the problem, how can I see my kid too many different places on the course? And that's really surprising. A lot of parents will do that. They'll transverse the course to be able to see their sons or daughters at different points in the race.
Absolutely. That's what you like at a cross-country venue, is the ability for the spectator to see the runners several times. That makes for a good venue. Here's Matt Engstrom and Brady Yoder battling it out for second, with Stone Swigert and Derek Barker behind. There's Coach Sparks of Dover. He's urging on Matty Engstrom. Chandler Miles and Blake Freed look like they've closed that gap a little bit with Derek Barker there. Here comes the rest of here comes our fifth runner, Justin Gerber.
Frank, we talked about the fact that you're an assistant coach down at Claymont, and how do you get, whether it's the young ladies, the young men, ready to go for a race in terms of coaching them up? Obviously, when you're watching a basketball game or a football game or a baseball or softball contest, somebody can call timeout, they can go out, talk to somebody in the middle of the game. That's not the case in cross country. How do you get your kids prepped and ready to go for this race or any race?
Well, this race, this is county bragging rights here, so everybody likes that, whether it be the individual or, you know, the team honors are pretty big. And we try to really promote the team, because we don't think we're going anywhere without our team. So for us to be successful, it's got to be all our members producing in order for us to get somewhere.
Frank, we're going to talk a little bit later on during the broadcast about district and state and regional cross-country meets, but you can qualify as a team, you can qualify as an individual.
That's right. Out of the district, you qualify to a regional, and this year's been, there's been a lot of confusion as far as where people out of our district are heading. We have a district that has actually two districts. I don't know if they call it District 1 and 2 or A and B, but we had been going to regionals down in Pickerington, and now we're going to Youngstown, and we didn't find that out until late. So it's kind of, it's tough not knowing where you're going and who you're going to be facing, definitely.
Our coverage of the 2011 Tuscarawas County Cross Country Race on TV2 being brought to you by a number of great sponsors. They include the First National Bank of Denison in Denison, Dover, Janaden, Hutton, and in New Philadelphia, and online at fnbdenison.com, Superior Basement, and many more that we'll tell you about throughout the course of the broadcast. And as we see the runners coming through, I guess one of the great things that I like about the sport of cross country, and Frank, the reason you're here is I don't profess to have a great knowledge of the sport, but you watch football, you watch basketball, especially those two sports, someone's got to have a lot of size. So you got to be an offensive lineman, 6'2" and 225 pounds. A great basketball player might be 6'4" or something along those lines. But you get in this sport and you can see no matter your size, you can compete at the highest level.
Yeah, definitely all shapes and sizes here. Obviously, being slight of build is helpful, but you know, like take Kyle Sanborn for Dover. He's a larger, successful runner. I think he goes about 6'3". So we got Logan Kettlewell here, who's progressing along rather nicely in the race.
And as we look at Logan in this particular part of the course, we're at where in terms of how much further does Logan have to go as he pushes out front?
He's getting in what you call the home stretch. He's going around this new course, which will head out towards Worcester Avenue there, out around that new softball field, and he's really in the home stretch. Probably about 600 meters left for him, maybe 700. So really considered 3.1 miles, he's definitely done the bulk of the work so far.
Now, we talked a few minutes ago, Frank, about the guys and the gals who might run in the middle of the pack or the back of the pack and maintaining focus. If you're somebody like Logan who tends to run out front, do you have mental challenges there as well in terms of there's nobody right on my heels, how do I keep my pacing up?
Absolutely. It's hard to push yourself out of what I call the comfort zone. You really have to have an inner drive to keep pushing, because believe me, he might look like it's easy out there, but he's in some pain. There's no doubt about it.
Logan Kettlewell leading the race, and should Logan finish out on top, and he's got a pretty substantial lead right now. I hope to talk with Logan after the race. We're going to see our girls action and competition coming up in just a very few minutes as part of the 2011 Tuscarawas County cross country coverage as we look back to the other guys following up behind Logan. Who do we have here?
Here we have Brady Yoder. Appears to have broken Matt Engstrom a little bit. I can't quite see how far back Matty is right now, but Brady looks strong, and he's a seasoned, successful runner.
As we see him wrap around the course, we were mentioning the girls' race coming up shortly here on TV2, and any differences between the way the boys and girls run, the way you get them ready to go?
Actually, the exact same. Guys, you might be able to push a little bit more mileage, maybe a little bit more workload on, but not really. Here's Matty Engstrom. Appears to be about 10 seconds behind Brady. He's looking ahead still, so that's good. Hopeful that he was probably thinking about catching him. Stone Swigert of this is actually the first time he'll be leading the Claymont Mustangs, and Blake Freed had really recovered there to get second for the Mustangs. Derek Barker and Chandler Miles, that is a very close 1-4 pack, and that's how you win races on the team level, is having your guys all up in front like that.
Frank, when we're at the point you were mentioning, 700, 600, 500 meters remaining, what's reality in terms of if you're 20 meters behind a guy, can you still catch him? How close do you have to be if you want to jump up a spot, whether it's second going to first, fifth going to fourth, or something along those lines?
Well, obviously the more distance there is, the harder it is to overcome, but you know, sometimes you can get a second win in a race and just feel great and really make up some ground. But here's some more Garraway and Dover coming in, Tusky Valley. But Coach Zobel out there, he's got to be pretty hopeful with his chance at team being 1-2 punch. But with Claymont having our 1-4 right behind them, it ought to stack up pretty close when it comes time to tally this.
Give us a brief rundown, Frank, because we're going to talk more about this in depth a little bit later on, but I guess team scoring, it doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure out, okay, this guy's first, this guy's second, but how do you tally team numbers in terms of who finishes at the top of the meet?
A varsity cross-country team consists of 7 runners, with 5 being scorers. Number 6th and 7th guy is called displacers, which they could displace other 5th man on another team and still score points, but the low score wins. Lowest possible score in a cross-country meet is 15 points. That's if you take 1 through 5.
We continue to watch the runners as we get near the back of the pack in the 2011 Tuscarawas County cross-country race. Frank, sort of putting you on the spot, but how long have they been running this particular county race?
Wow, I'd have to say about a dozen years. It's a great thing, though. I wish they had it back when we were in school, but...
Now, when was that?
Well, that was quite a while ago.
A very politically correct answer. Now we see as the guys continue to push toward the finish line, and we're going to switch to our camera angle from the finish line coming up in just a couple of minutes. But I guess when we talk about that, Frank, and we see the young men that are out there participating and running in this race, we were mentioning references to football and basketball and baseball, which it seems like guys and gals start playing when they're 3, 4, 5 years old. What are the cross-country runners in terms of kids that can compete at this level? Where do they come from? Where do they get their start?
Well, now we've got a great, I guess you'd call it a farm league now with this biddy program, which I know was started in the southern district of the county, I think down at Claymont, and then Indian Valley jumped on, but the numbers of kids that run in these biddy programs is unbelievable. I know over at Dover, Coach Edie has 90-some runners, and it's just tremendous, the kids getting out for this, and our numbers are hurt by the soccer programs in the area, but the biddy program has really helped to bolster the number of runners in the area.
Our cross-country coverage as a part of this 2011 Tuscarawas County cross-country meet from the Dover City Park, being brought to you by sponsors including Subway restaurants in Dover, New Philadelphia, Sugar Creek, Strasburg, Uricksville, Subway, all across the valley. Run hard and eat fresh. Also, other sponsors include First Federal Community Bank in Dover, New Philadelphia, Sugar Creek, and now out in Holmes County in Berlin. Ferris Chevrolet Buick Cadillac Toyota on the Wabash in New Philadelphia, think Ferris, and Super Fitness in the Newtown Mall. And we see local Kettlewell. We've been talking about them all throughout the course of the afternoon, coming across the finish line.
Across the tape at 17:28. Probably what I said earlier, about 30 to 45 seconds slow, is probably correct on the course by given that time. Waiting on the second guy would be either Brady Yoder or Matt Engstrom.
And that's what we've seen throughout the course of the race coverage so far, is Logan and Matt and Brady sort of flipping back and forth between second and third.
There it is, Brady Yoder. He broke Matty Engstrom.
So Garraway finishing with the top 2 spots. And we've seen, as Frank was talking about, Matt Engstrom, and here he comes.
He looked pretty strong.
Finishing at 18:16. And now
Stone Swigert of Mustangs, followed by Blake Freed. What a nice front pack by the Mustangs. Derek Barker, Chandler Miles. That's a 9-second split from the 1 to 4, and if we can keep that up, we'll be looking to advance far in the tournament.
So, of course, as you can imagine, most of the crowd down at the finish line here at Dover City Park, right behind the soccer field, which is adjacent to Dover Middle School, as the kids continue to come across in the top 10. And we'll run down our results coming up as a part of our post-race coverage.
There was the Pirates' third runner, and
really, Frank, as we watch, and you've seen this.
That runner there was Alvin Paxter. He's actually a dual athlete. He plays soccer also, as well as run cross country. So he's probably a very tired individual at times.
Frank, as we continue to watch runners come across the line, and I was mentioning you've seen this because you've been around the sport a long time, but These guys leave everything out on the course, sort of right out of our camera angle. A lot of these guys come across the course and they collapse. So we'll talk more about that, and we'll get to our post-race coverage and talk with Logan Kettlewell.
The 2011 Tuscarawas County Cross Country Championships on the boys' side has come to a close. The individual winner, Logan Kettlewell from Garaway. Logan, obviously you run a good race when you finish on top on a big competition like this one. What were the biggest things that you did well out on the course today that allowed you to finish with a win?
Well, on this course you really got to work the hills, and I just tried to do that. Then once you got off those, it was just guts for that last mile. Just go with what you got.
Tell us a little bit about some of your teammates. Obviously, to a large degree, cross-country and individual sport, but if you guys do well as a team, you need your other teammates to run well. Tell us about some of those guys.
If it wasn't for my team, that wouldn't have happened. I mean, they're out there pushing me every day. If they're not out there, this sport wouldn't be nearly as enjoyable, and today they ran an awesome race too, so I'm proud of them.
Tell us what some of your individual goals were and the team goals were as the season got underway several weeks back.
Well, we all have the big goal to get to state and compete there. I'm hoping to go top 5 at state, but I'm more worried about the team as of right now.
Congratulations on a big win.
Thanks.
Coming up as our coverage of the 2011 Tuscarawas County Cross Country Championships continues from Dover City Park, the girls' race will get underway.
Logan Kettlewell, Frank finishing on top, no surprise.
No surprise. He was the favorite coming into this, so he finished on top like we expected.
Congratulations, and the Claymont Mustangs finish on top.
1 through 4, 9-second spread, that says it all. That got them where they are.